what you're about to see is an extended version of me building this house in SketchUp, me drawing it in SketchUp. It is long, it is kind of boring. It is the kind of thing that you should watch if you really want to see exactly how I did it in SketchUp. And I think that's a really valuable tool for those of you that are looking to design your own house in 3D modeling software like SketchUp. So continue watching if that's what you're looking to do. If you just want to see an overview of the house, of me doing it in SketchUp and just kind of a tour of how I did it, and then move right on to the framing videos and seeing how I actually built it in real life, then you should click here or there or somewhere right now to watch the SketchUp overview video, which is, it's about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and it just goes through the finished product. So enjoy, guys, and I hope this is helpful. Okay, guys, I am going to start framing the lofted area now. So I'm going to start by making the sheathing go away. So I have a sheathing layer that I'm going to disappear. Okay, so we're going to use this previous model as a reference. Now, in the drawings that we did, I kind of figured out the slope of the roof, just kind of, you know, by trial and error, messing around. We knew that we didn't want a lot of slope because we wanted to maximize headroom in the loft area. That was our, as I keep saying, that was like our main priority. So we wanted to keep this as minimal a slope as possible. So on the downslope side, that we had maximum headspace. So I came to 3.6 degrees. Yeah, I know that, you know, with only 3.6 degrees, snow is going to want to sit up there. I don't know that I'm that concerned about snow sitting up there. I've built some, you know, structures around the property, like covering wood that's drying. Very light, very minimal structures, framing structures, and they have been able to support like 30 inches of snow without a problem, even after it melts and starts turning to ice. Obviously, it's not preferable, but they have been able to. So I don't think I mean, this is 100 times stronger than the stuff that I built to cover that stuff. In addition, the other issue is that you don't want water just sitting on your roof, especially with like standing seam or seams that, like, you know, that are silicone together, because water that's sitting up on a flat roof will eventually over time make it into your house. So this is obviously on a flat roof. And the other thing about it is that this slope is south facing. So the sun is going to be hitting this roof and heating it up, and it's going to be melting the snow off the roof. So I think that snow won't be up there very long. Now, if snow is up there longer than I want, it's going to be my responsibility to get the snow off the roof. That's just the bottom line. I think that's a small price to pay for like the 2 or 3 big snowstorms we get a year. It's a small price to pay to have to do that a few times a year to get that extra headroom in here, which we're going to be enjoying every single day. So that is my rationale. If I didn't have height restrictions, the 13.5 feet from the DMV, I would absolutely probably add another 6 inches to this slope without a question. So what I did was I kind of just figured out what I wanted. I was just playing around. So I started with this wall right here, right? So if I was to take a measurement from the top, let's just go from the, I don't know, let's go from the bottom of the subfloor here all the way up to the top. We'll lock to the blue axis, and we're going to snap up to the intersection of this line. Huh. Won't even let me. That's bizarre. Won't even let me do that. Oh, am I on the inside? Oh, I see. It's because I got this this piece. Let me just hide this. It's one little piece. I got this piece of like blocking or pack out there. Okay, so I'm going to hide that. Get this back. Did I lose it? Yeah, I lost it. Got to reselect now. Okay, so we'll go from the bottom of the sheathing. We'll just go up this corner. Lock to the blue axis, and we're going to snap right to there. So approximately 11 and a half feet, 11, 5 3/4. So, of course, we need to add like 21 inches to that because that's the height from the top of the trailer deck down to the ground. And then we add like our sheathing and our roof on top, and then we have approximately 13 and a half feet. So I knew that the reason this model is built that way is because it was built to 13 and a half feet spec. Now, so knowing that was my limitation, I knew what my height restriction was going to be down here. We tried to make it as minimal as possible. So from the finished floor, which is 3/4 of an inch up from this subfloor that you're seeing here, to the underside of these exposed rafters for the loft is 6'3", and then underneath, in between these guys, you got another 3.5 inches for the height of these 2x4s, so you end up with 6'6.5". So we felt like that was, the absolute minimum that we could do for the clearance inside under that loft. Let's get out of here. Having trouble showing what I need to. So that's how we got that height. And so that dictated this height, and then the height of the loft platform up here, the subfloor of that. And then basically it was just, how much space do we have left over? So in this case, for the interior space on this side, let me see if I can orbit around this easy enough without hiding anything over here, because I deleted all my layers, unfortunately. So what do we got here? We'll go from this point, this intersection right here, lock to the blue axis, and go to, can we get to there? Yeah, so on the high side we got about, yeah, we got approximately 4'4". Actually minus 3 inches, or 1.5 inches for the subfloor and the finished floor. Oh, sorry, there is no subfloor. It is just finished floor on top of this loft. So 3/4 there, and then 3/4 up here for the ceiling. So 1.5 inches. So we got about 4'3" on the high side. So that's how we figured out what we were going to get there. And then, so that was the high side, 4'3" for the loft. So what we did was we just kind of sat on the floor and measured with a tape measure up 4'3" and saw what that was like. And then we said, okay, well, now that we're on the floor with a tape measure, let's take a look at what the minimum we could reasonably deal with on the other side, making sure that we can still sit up in bed depending on where we put our mattress and such. And I'll just measure this to tell you what we came up with. So here we got about 3'11" or something, 3'10". So we end up with about 3'8" after we subtract the ceiling and the floor. So we said, okay, well, with 3'8" on one side and with 4 foot, whatever that was on the other side, that gives us enough room to at least sit up in bed and to move around as comfortably as possible up on this loft. So that's how we came up ultimately. We just came up with the wall heights that we wanted, and then I just used an online roof slope calculator to figure out what the degree was of the slope, and that's how I got 3.6. So that's what we're going to work with. So now what I need to do is recreate that in this new model. So let me go back over to the high side. Let me get the true height of these walls. So the wall, actually, all I really need is the height of these 2x4s. That'll be fine. So we'll go from this point right here, this point right here, to this point right here. 4'1.25". Okay. That is easy enough. Okay, and I can probably break my walls up very similar to how I did there, but let me just start with this. 4'1.25". Okay, rectangle. Okay. 3.5, 1.5. Okay, 4 foot, 1 1/4 inches. Okay. There we go. Make this a component. And let me just see, I'd have to refresh our memory here. It's been about a week since I was working on this drawing. I need to see what side it was that I actually started my 16 on center from. I have a feeling it was this side over here. Let's see. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to start my framing for this on the other side. Okay, let's move this. Sometimes I don't want to hit H and pan over. Sometimes I just want to zoom out and far enough so I can zoom back in again. That's what I just did right there. Alright, I'm going to also snap that to the green axis just to be absolutely sure that we're not going to have that little gap problem where it's snapping to the wrong place and it's not perfectly flush with the framing members. As I've mentioned so many times, do not make that mistake like I made. Okay, so now that we have that, let's just make some 16 on centers. Control to copy, left arrow to lock to green axis, type in 16, enter. Now I got 2 of these guys, so let's grab them both. M to move, control to copy, and I'm going to be moving these over now 32 inches. And I actually messed that up because I did not lock to green axis. I want to make sure I do that. Okay, control to copy, left to lock. Okay, I'm going to select all 4 of these. M to copy, left to lock, M to move, control to copy, left to lock to green axis. Oh, clicking the wrong stuff. Okay. Now, if you're coming in on this video, I just want to be clear about this again. You can see there's a little dotted line, a little green dotted line just to the right of my cursor there. And that's telling me I'm on the green axis, but notice how I can move it around off that axis. I want to use the left arrow just to lock it in so I can't get off that no matter what. Okay, so move it over 64 now. Okay, so what I like to do, guys, is I like to just kind of start with as I'm doing a wall, I'm just going to start off by just putting these 2x4s components across the entire thing. Gives me a good starting point. So now we're at 128. Okay, I'm just going to do it one more time. It'll probably be enough. So I'm already on move, control, lock to green, 128. Okay, so it looks like now just need one more over here. And this one, lock to green. This one, 16, is going to be too far. So I'm just going to, don't want to copy that. Lock to green, and I'm just going to move it back to meet up on the end of the framing there. Okay, so now we got all these 2x4s. And now I can actually put a top plate in too. Yeah, see, one thing I want to change is I have this, see how I have this, I have my sole plate here as part of a group that's part of my platform. I need to separate that out. So let me edit this group. How am I going to do this? I'm going to explode this group, right? And now all those pieces are still selected. Now, remember, they all inherit the layer they were in. So I'm going to put them all back to layer 0. Now I'm going to use shift clicking to unselect the 2 sole plates that are on top of the platform. And I'm going to make this a group again. And then I'm going to put that group back in platform. And now what's nice is once I can select this and see platform. That group is in the platform layer, but now I've separated my sole plates, which is good because I need my my wall components on the second story here to include the sole plate in their own groups. Okay, so now I am going to copy this sole plate from that bottom edge. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm just going to do this one, just this side. Lock to the blue axis by hitting up, and I'm going to snap right to the edge there. Okay. Alright, so now I got this big long wall. I think the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put all my framed openings in this big wall before I even start to break it apart into separate wall components. So let's get some measurements as to where this needs to start. You know what? And this time I think I'm going to take some notes because let me grab a pen. I need to find a piece of paper. Okay. I've been trying to keep this all in my mind before. That was a little tough. Got some post-it notes here. All right, so let me take some notes. What the size of this framed opening is. So we got this corner. We got. Why isn't that snapping? There we go. So this is 4 foot, probably by 2 feet here. So that's the standard size. No, it's actually 18 inches. Okay, so we got 48 by 18 on this window, and distance from the edge of this framing wall component to the king stud is a very strange number. I think that's because I wanted the window to be a specific number. Yeah, 2 foot and 3/4. There was something about that number. I don't remember what it is, but I'm just going to roll with it. Okay, so let's just talk about to the king stud now. So we got 1 foot 9 3/4. It's a king stud. Just writing that down. Okay, 1 foot 9 3/4. I think that's. Oh no, we also need the height. Let's get the height to the bottom of the sole plate. 1 foot 4.5. Okay. So my sole or my sill plate, whatever you want to call it, for the window is 1 foot. Let me get that again. 1 foot 4.5 inches. Okay, and remember, on this new model, I'm not doing these single sills. I'm going to do double sills to make them even stronger, because, you know, why not? I have triple axles, 7,000 pounds each. I can support a ton of weight. What's an extra 2x4 or 2 going to do to my weight? Not a whole lot. Okay, so 1 foot 9 3/4 in. So let's pull this line off the tape measure and lock to the green axis. And we're going to say 1 foot 9 3/4. Okay, that's that. So now what I can also do, let me just delete a few of these 2x4s because I know they're going to be in the way. I can even delete this one over here. Okay, I can duplicate this guy now because this was to my king stud. Lock to green, and then move to over there. Okay, so now I know that my cripple studs, my jack studs rather, are 1 foot 4.5 inches. So let me draw one of those. Okay, rectangle. 3.5, 1.5. Push this. That didn't work for some reason. Okay, 1 foot 4 1/2. Oh, and actually, sorry, that is It's too high. Let me try that again. I need to subtract another 1.5 inches for that second sill. So 1 foot 3. 1 foot 3 inches. Okay. Make that into a component. Alrighty. Next step. Now our sills are actually going to be the 4 foot, the 48 inches long, with an additional 3 inches, because they're going to encapsulate the end grain of the jack studs on the side. So we're going to do 48 plus 3, so 51 inches for those guys. So I'll do another rectangle here. This is going to be 3.5, comma 1.5. And we'll pull this out. 51. Okay, got it. Make that a component. Alrighty. Let's grab the king stud, duplicate that. You know what I want to do first? I want to pull a tape, lock to green axis, and then I can just lock right to this right here, right to the point of the end of that 2x4, that sill. And now I got a line over there. Actually, I probably didn't even need to do that. Let me undo that. If I move, copy and move to on this corner right there, lock to green axis, now I can actually just do it just like that, just like I was doing with that tape measure. Lock right. Let me orbit a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Boom. Whoops. So you see that lock that happens right there. And again, the reason I'm able to do that is because I'm locking to the green axis, and then I can move my cursor anywhere I want and lock to any point. Alright, so that's that. Now I'm going to move and copy this cripple stud, or jack stud rather. And lock to green there. Okay, cool. Let me copy, maybe make my second sill. Lock to blue. Okay, cool. Alright, now I need my actual height, my true height of 18 inches to be drawn. So let me do that. Rectangle. What do we got? 3.5, comma 1.5. Oh, made that mistake again. Okay, 18 inches. Select all the entities, 18 of them on these, any kind of 2x4 member, 2x6 member. And I'm going to make a component out of that. And now I am going to copy that as well. Locking to green, snapping to that corner. Okay, now I can simply copy this component up, locking to blue axis, and snapping to right there. But this guy needs to get rotated, so let's do that. Rotate you, mister. And we're going to lock that to which one? Green axis. We're going to rotate on the green axis. That point to that point, 90 degrees. Could have done that a little bit differently, but I didn't, so now we just need to move it in. I'll move it on the other side first, because there are going to be two of these side by side, locking to red axis with the right arrow, and there's going to be two of these side by side. So I move this one in with a, oops, select this one first, lock to red axis, and then snap to this point right here. Two of these guys side by side with a piece of 1/2 inch plywood blocking a few of those in there. Okay, so now let's just get our couple cripple studs in up here. Actually, no, we don't need those, I realize. Okay, so now we just need to continue our 16 on center pattern, but I'm not going to do that yet. As I've said before, what I've gotten really accustomed to doing, let me actually delete these guides. I've gotten really accustomed to doing is just creating these basic framed openings. Not even worrying, I have one too many studs taken out here. Actually, I can. Let me replace that right now. That makes sense to replace. So let's move it back over, locking to green, 16 inches. Okay. But not worrying about the cripple studs here on my around on top and bottom of my framed opening until I get my whole wall worked out. I like that because I've had a couple times where I've had to like reorient the 16 on center or I've messed something up. So I just like to go through that and do the whole wall 16 on center, confirm it's right at the end. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm remembering from my last videos that I was actually saying that I didn't even want to do any of these studs. I didn't want to do any 16 on center until the very end. So actually, that makes a lot of sense. Forget the 16 on center. Just make a giant open framed wall. That's the best way to start this. Sorry guys, I forgot what I had said to myself last weekend. Alright, so I like this. Just a big open blank slate, and I can position my framed opening exactly where I want. At the very end, I will deal with 16 on center. But you know what? I just realized this is kind of a problem, can be a problem too, because sometimes if my 16 on center happens to fall like right like an inch away from like, or if my 16 on center falls like an inch away from where I have one of these framed openings, a lot of times what I'll do, I'll just move the whole framed opening over so I don't have to have an extra 16 on center stud right next to it. I think we can work that out at the end. Let's give this a try. I've never done it this way from scratch, so we'll do it this way. Okay, so let's see here. Let's figure out how far this one is from the end. So we'll start from the same end, pull over. Okay. And I'm going to lock to green axis, and we got, why am I not snapping? Here we go. Okay, 12 foot 10 and a quarter. Let's remember that. 12 foot 10 and a quarter. I'm going to pull off of here, lock to green axis, the tape measure, and 12 foot 10 and a quarter inches. All right. So I can save a little time now. I can copy. Oh, let's make sure of these measurements first. I know that these are all the same height, windows, and also they're the same height off the ground. So I'll just confirm that in my notes. 1 foot 4.5. Yep, that is the same. And then this is also, it's got to be 18 inches. It is. Oh, and it looks like I made a mistake already. I was going to be using 1x6s on my headers. Am I doing that? No, I'm not doing that down there. Interesting. I thought I was doing that. Did I do it over here? I did do it over there. I just forgot to do it on one of these. Interesting. I did it over there. And this one, I didn't even do I didn't even do the proper header. Okay. Let me fix it for here, and then I'll fix it other places. This is what's great. See, this is a perfect example of why not doing the cripple studs was a really good choice, because I already made a mistake. And now, instead of having to redo those cripple studs, I can just fix this. I can just pull this up. We're going from 3.5 up to 5.25, because that is a 2x6 around here. So your 2x6s might be 5.5. I don't know. I already know where I'm buying them from, and I know what they're going to be. Okay, what just happened? Zoom in a little further. Make sure I'm only on this entity. Oh, it's because these are components. Perfect. Oh, but it's a problem because these are not unique. Wow. This is my age-old problem, guys. I need to make these two unique because I copied. It was a mistake. I copied from these sill plates, and now it's editing those as well. Let's make these unique. And now they're unique together, so when I pull one of them, it's going to pull both, but it's not going to pull the sill plates now. So I'm going from 3.5 to 5 1/4, so that means I need 1 3/4. I don't know what I just did. I made a mistake. What's going on here? Okay, 3.5. Pulling 1.75. Okay. Not sure what I did there. Okay. Got it. All right, so now I can save a little time. I can just can select all of these pieces like this, and I can move those. Copy, lock to green, and snap right over to here. Perfect. Okay, so these were, as you remember, these were 48 inches plus 3 to accommodate for the jack studs, because they encompass them, as you can see here. So these are 51 inches. The length of this window, I think, is 84, if I remember correctly. Let's see. (7'3". So 7 feet is 84 inches plus 3, so 87 inches. Okay, so we got, let me just do a quick little math. We got 87 minus 51. These need to get pulled out 36 inches. I do this differently each time, guys, just so I can show you different techniques. You can pick the one that works best for you. 87 minus 51. I already lost that number. 87 minus 51. 36 inches. Okay, so I'm going to pull these out. The 36. They are components, so they went together, and these should also be the same thing. They are, because you can see how it's this one is also selected. Pull this out, 36 inches. Again, I'm notorious, guys. I did not make these unique. Got to undo that. Very first thing I do here, make these unique. Do the same thing with these two. Pull these out, 36. Pull these out, 36. Okay, great. Now I can just grab these guys, make quick work out of this, pull these over, lock to green. Let's put them over there for a second, because I couldn't see anything. And now we can just pull this over, locking to green, and I will lock right to that. Okay. Framed opening number 2 complete. Save, save, save. Don't stop saving, always save. Remind myself to do that. And I think this the last framed opening that we need to do, I think it was the same as the first. Yeah, 4 foot, it's all the same. So what we can do now is I can literally just grab this entire thing. Let me see how far it is from the edge here to the king stud is 1 foot 8 1/4. Let me write that down. Okay, so number 1, pull a line, lock to green, 1 foot 8 1/4 inches. All right. Now I'm literally going to take this entire thing. Now see, this type of thing I got to be really careful, because nothing is going to be unique. So if I ever want to modify one of these windows, I'm going to have to make those components unique later to accommodate that. Because I'm not going to go through right now and make them all unique. That's just a waste of time. All right. And we're going to snap to this intersection right there. Okay, made some quick work out of that framed opening. As you can see, I forgot to copy that. Let me try that one more time. Now I did, remember? And now we made some quick work of that framed opening. All right. So the next thing I want to do now is figure out where I want to break up these wall components. Remember, I'm making these wall components individually as small as reasonably possible so that I can maneuver them and raise them into place one by one with no more than one other person. So it looks like, what did I do here? I have one wall component that ends over here, and then I have another wall component that does all this. Yeah, so that's a whole thing that I got to get into. I'll talk about in a moment. And then this wall component ends over here. So we need to do we need to actually deal with that front door now. So let's take it one step at a time. Let's pretend like this door wasn't here, and we're just going to do our 3 wall components. So this wall component, oh, but it does matter because I need to make sure it'll clear the fender of those wheels, right? Okay, so let's see what we got here. Let's see where we want to put this door. The edge of this door, start that over again. Let's start over here. So the king stud for the door framed opening ends right here. I'm going to pull that over, lock to the green. Can't I see anything? Huh. I don't know why I'm seeing that. It's strange. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. Let me edit and delete all the guides. Start this over again. Start on this point and go over to here. Okay, so we got 12'6". Let's see if we can fit that before this this fender. I believe we can. Wow, we totally can. So if I lock to green, up here, what do we got? 12'8". Wow, we're just gonna fit. That's amazing. Okay, so we can do it. So then this wall can actually be this long. So let's see how long that is. All right, let me take a note. 11 foot, just lost it. 11 foot, 4 3/4. That is the length of this first wall component. Okay, so let's start that. So from this edge, lock to green, 11 foot, 4 3/4. Huh. Wonder why I chose to break my wall there. I think I probably explained that in one of the videos I made already. I should probably go back and take a look at that to see why I did that. Let's go back and look at our model. Yeah, these end in the exact same spot. Oh, I know why this isn't quite right. This isn't quite right because from this model to this model, I think I changed the length of this cantilever a little bit. That's why this isn't adding up. Let me see what I did. 1 foot 10.5 versus, yeah, there's just a lot of differences. I changed the way I'm doing that sheathing too. 1 foot 10.5. Where did that even come from? Well, let's measure off the off the end of this framing. 1 foot 11.25. Yeah, and then we have 2 feet. So we have 1 3/4 inches of difference in length of that. So that's why we're off. We probably are off by 1 3/4. 2 1/4. Eh. Must be missing something. Must be missing something else. Okay, well, the reason why this wall stops here, I guarantee, is because we need enough room for the door. And the door framed opening, the whole thing is 3.5 inch. So what does this give us here? Yeah, it gives us plenty of room to put in the door. So I am just going to end this wall right on top of this wall component. That is going to be the way this is going to go. Alright, so let me delete this guide here. And create a new one that ends right here. Like so. Okay, sweet. Alright, so I'm just going to start making that. The first thing I'm going to do, I have to break the sole plate and the top plate. And, you know, I actually don't really know what the best way to do that is. It's interesting. Let me try a couple things. What if I was to create some lines? Well, I'll just show you so you can see what I'm doing. Locking to the red axis. I'll rotate around this way now, create another line, lock to the blue, like that, right? And I have this, now I have this like thing hanging out in space, so what I can do, oh, you know what? In order to do this in order to actually make this work, I need to be editing this component first. So it actually draws the lines like inside on the face of this component. So I'm going to lock to red. Okay, and it just happened. It did not work. Locking to red. Okay. Line. Locking to blue. And now I can do one more line locking to red. Can't see this one, but I know it's there. And I'm going to draw it right to there. So look at that. Now I've separated this component, I think. And now what I can do, I can... Okay, so it's still one component. Let me explode the component. Great. It's funny, I don't even know if this is possible to do. I can like hide these faces, right? Let me hide this face too. And I guess I'll even hide this face. Right, so now you can just see those lines. So now what I can do is I can push this one away. Now, see, they're all still touching. This is tough. This is not a good way to break this apart. You know what? There's got to be. I really want to know. I'm gonna undo everything. I really want to know what a good way to break this apart is. What about this? I have this Zorro slice. Let's see what this does. Slice. Okay, Zorro slice. Doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot of anything. Okay. Huh. I wonder. Okay, guys. You know what? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on doing this. What I am going to do right now is something just way simpler. I'm going to take this component and I'm just going to push it back to meet my intersection line. And then I'm going to just make a copy of this component. Lock it to the green. And I'm going to just bring it way out. Just way out here, right? Should have probably done this a little bit differently. I'm going to make it unique, like I always forget to do, and then I'm going to move it back in, locking to green, and I'm going to snap right back to there. And now I'm just going to push this one in. Snap to there. So that's the way I've been doing it. That's the way I'm going to keep doing it for now. But if you guys have a better way to like kind of slice that sole plate at that point, I would really love to hear it. Okay, so now we can move on. I want to delete that guide. I'm going to make a copy of this. Locking it to green. And oh yeah, because this right here is these two are components. I lost the top plate in that, so now I just have to copy the top plate. Lock it to blue. Get that there. Okay. All right, cool. Now I got that wall section. Let me just create the next one now. See how long it was over here. Tape measure. Okay, so this wall component 9'4". Green, 9'4". Where the heck did that go? 9'4". There it is. And now we can do the same thing that we just did. I'll just do it on the other side. Gonna push this. Okay. You see how I'm modifying the sole plate on the other side. I don't really care right now. That's totally fine. These are all going to be unique anyway, so that those shouldn't have been a component shared on both sides anyway, because they're all going to be unique. Okay, so now we've done that. That's totally fine. While we're here, let's just copy this thing. Lock it to green, snap to the edge. Okay, and now we can just copy this thing. Just copy it from this edge over here. Oops. take that corner, lock it to green, stick it right there. And now we're going to copy that up. Lock it to blue. We'll snap it to right there. I'm going to make these two unique, because they are going to be unique in length. And I'm going to pull them out to the end of the wall here. Okay, perfect. Alright, so now we got our 3 wall components. We know exactly where they're going to be ending. Oops, I'm missing 2x4. Okay, I think we're in good shape now. 3 wall components. Save this. Delete all my guides. Okay. Let's think about this for a moment. Okay, I think we are ready to start our 16 on centers. I'm wondering if I should deal with this door, actually, before I do that. Yeah, I feel like I should. With this door, that's unique to this. So let me do this. Let me just start with 16 on centers over here on this wall component. Start with that. Okay, 16. Now when I'm going into this framed opening, and we're not going to have full studs, we're going to have cripple studs. I'm going to take a measurement off this, lock to green, 16 inches. So now I can just pull this one over 16, and now I can copy this 16, 16, and I need to create a new do this right. Did I manage to mess this up? I did manage to mess this up. It's very important that you be consistent with what edge you're putting your 16 on centers from. So I did it starting on that side, and then when I copied this thing, I didn't move it to the right side. So it goes not here, it goes over here. Let's just confirm that. Okay. No, that's fixed. Okay, let's draw a rectangle. 3.5, comma 1.5. And let's go all the way up till we hit that. Make this a component. And we'll start copying these over, lock into green access, 16. Okay, there's our cripple studs. Looking good. And now, to continue our 16 on center, I'm going to take 16, lock into green access, 16 here, and copy this. So I took that off the back edge. It's important that I'm consistent, and I'm not being consistent right now. No, I did take it off the right edge. I took it off the left edge. Okay. Now I can copy this thing, lock to green, move it right to there. So now, just to make absolutely sure, from this edge of that 16 on center, we got 16, and from this edge, we got 16. Okay, so now I can continue that pattern. There we go. This wall is complete. I would like to continue this just one to give me a little hint here into the next wall. I'm going to stop there for now. Okay. Now I'm going to have to figure out this door. Alrighty. So let's take a look. Let's see what I ended up doing. So this is something I've been avoiding talking about for a while. Let me hide some of these groups so they don't get confusing in the back. Okay. All right, so we got this situation here where my front door, which I wanted the framed opening to be 7 feet. Does that even make sense? 84 inches? I think I might even made a mistake here because the framed opening, yeah, I wonder if that height is supposed to be off. That height is probably supposed to be off. It's got to be off the finished floor because your door is going to be, swinging right over the finished floor. Right now I have this 84-inch height over the subfloor, which is not good. Yeah, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of research for a moment and figure out how to deal with that. I'll be right back. Okay, so did a little research and we figured out what door we're gonna use, and I think that's pretty important. In the original drawing, in this drawing here, we were using like standardized dimensions for like a 30 by 80 exterior door, but what I noticed once we actually started looking into actual doors, the rough opening requirements for specific doors varied a little bit. So the door that we're going to get is going to be 82 1/4 rough opening height by 32 rough opening width. So that being said, I'm going to stick that door in here. So using all the same methods that we've used before, I'm just going to start putting that door in. The one thing that you're going to notice is that in this drawing, what I have to overcome here is the fact that my platform is at, let's see where the top of this wall is, off the subfloor. It's only 6'2" 1/4. So that's not going to be enough for an 82 1/4 inch rough opening height. So we have to break through this platform here in order to accommodate it. So let's go back over to this drawing. You can see that's exactly what I've done here. Broken through the platform in only this one location in order to accommodate that height. So this is more, I don't even know if you would call this balloon framing here, but it's, in this one little area we have no platform, so it's kind of like this hybrid, I guess. It's a hybrid of platform framing and maybe balloon, if you will. So let me just recreate this now with those new rough dimensions over in our new model. Okay, great. So I can just hide that cantilever layer so I can see the edge of this, get access to the edge of the platform, the top plate, and the, or really it's just this platform here that I need to push back. So first I need to make this thing unique because I don't want to push the other side in. So Let me push this. I'm just going to push it really far just so it's completely out of the way here. Just for now. Okay. Great. Now I can bust open this wall. What is this? This is wall 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this. I'm going to hide this component here so I can get access to this top plate easily, and I'm going to push this in too, farther than I need, just so it's out of the way. Okay, and now I got the same issue up here. I need to hide this component so I can then push this one out of the way. That's fine. I just have to really, you know what, I just need to delete this thing over here. There's no need for that for now. Okay, so now we have an opening that'll get us all the way to the height that we need, the 82¼ inches. Okay, so another thing that I'm gonna have to do here is this guy. I think I'm just gonna delete this completely for now. And okay, so let's start with the width. I'm definitely going to need to delete these 2 studs. So we got 32 inches in width. So let's see, if we were to use this stud right here as the king stud for our exterior door framed opening, then I can pull off of this yeah, so the actual framed opening is from the insides of the jack stud. So the king stud and the jack stud next to each other equal 3 inches on each side. So I'm going to have to subtract 6 inches from this number, or add 6 inches to the 32-inch rough opening number to go from the outside of the king stud to the outside of the other king stud. So we got to go 38 inches. So let me pull 38 inches off of that. And that's where my other king stud needs to be, right there. So let's do this. Let me copy this guy. Zoom in here. Whoops, that was right the first time. Do that again. Okay. What's that? Now the rough opening for the exterior door, the height does not include. It goes all the way down to the subfloor. There's no plate. There's no sole plate underneath it. So I'm going to pull this down, but I have to make this unique. Right. This one right here and this one I have to make unique together. So now I can pull this down 1.5 inches. Okay, so then they both go down. Okay, great. Yeah, so see this is the same problem we're ending up with. Like I end up with no sole plate on this side if I do it this way. There's nowhere for this jack stud underneath this header to actually nail to anything other than the subfloor, but we don't want that. We need something a little bit more substantial over here, so I'm gonna have to, I think I'm just gonna have to move the door over a little bit. We're gonna have to push the door, yeah, we're gonna have to push the door. Oh, see, that's a bummer, because yeah, so this is challenging. How do I, because I got the, I like the fact that the king stud and the jack studs underneath this big window opening here line up with the king stud and the jack stud for the most part. They're basically directly over the king stud and the jack stud for the front door. But maybe we just have to sacrifice that, because this is not going to work over here for me. So let's see what we get. Let me move this over. Get this one selected and this one selected. And then I can move them both at the same time over to lock to green, and we can snap to right. We can snap to the edge of this guy right there. Okay, so now at least over here, yeah, see, watch this. So now I can create this rectangle right here, 3.5, comma 1.5, on that face. Pull this out to right there. Make a component out of you. Okay. Yeah. Just thinking for a moment. Oh, okay, so I did actually make an error here. The king studs, my bad. The king studs actually sit on the sole plate. It's the jack studs that don't sit on the sole plate. So let me hide this for a moment. I'm going to hide the subfloor, or at least that piece of subfloor, and I'm just going to push this back up 1.5 inches. 0.5. Unhide last. Okay, great. Okay, so now let's move these back over just a little bit. Okay. I'll pull this out. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I need to make a new one of these. What is going on here? Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let me take a look at the other one. Yeah, I don't know if this was a legit way to do this. I have both the king stud and the jack stud going all the way to the subfloor here. I got to look that up. Okay, after doing about 2 seconds of research here, it appears that, like, whether you have the sole plate going underneath your jack stud and your cripple stud, your sole plate extending all the way under these, or if you do it this way where your jack stud and cripple stud go all the way into the subfloor, it appears that it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. People do it different ways. Obviously, there's no real difference in structural integrity with the weight coming down from the roof. Except for that, you know, once if you have everything landing on a sole plate, it actually does distribute the weight a little bit better onto your subfloor framing because that weight's on the sole plate instead of directly on the plywood subfloor here. So I think I like that better. I like landing on the sole plate better, and not only that, it's also important because this bit of framing is small. I have such little sole plates right here. I want these sole plates to be tied into this whole thing as much as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull these sole plates out a little bit further. another 1.5 inches, right? And by doing that, I'm going to land the jack studs right on them. Okay, so let's just copy these guys. Put some jack studs in. All right, now let's get a measurement, 82.25 off the floor, off the subfloor. Snap to the blue, 82.25. All right, so there's our height. That's where our header needs to be at. So we got yep, so we're back to this. We need to push these guys up. Some arbitrary amount. I'm just going to go above. We need to go even higher than that, so let me do that. Let's just push them up high for now. These are all components, but we don't want that. This one has to be unique because we have to modify it individually. Let's push these two up with each other. Okay. Whoops, didn't mean to delete that guide. Okay, so honestly, our king studs probably going all the way up to the top plate of this big wall. Yeah, they're going all the way up to there. And I don't even know if that was right. Why does that go all the way up to that top plate? See, I think I made an error here. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take this thing, this king stud, as high as we can go. Wherever it clears. Whoa boy. Okay, so this needs to be unique. Take that one up, just like that for now, so we see where it's headed. Okay. What I really want to do right now, though, let me also take this one up. Are these all connected together? Yeah, they are. This one has to be unique as well. Make unique. Take that one up there. Okay, so I want to get my my 2x6s, my 2x6 headers drawn in here. So let me do that. Intersection, so it's going to be 5.25. So we got what do we got here? 1.5, comma 5.25. Okay, let's pull this out. And we got 32-inch rough opening plus 1.5 inches for the jack studs. That gives us 3 inches, so 35 inches. I'm going to pull this out. Make a component out of that. Duplicate that. Lock it to the red axis and snap it right to there. Okay. Yep, so that length was correct. We are butting up against that other king stud nicely. Now all we gotta do is bring these jack studs up. Come on. Okay. All right, so now we got our framed opening for the door kind of roughed in there. And, you know, I keep thinking about this, and I keep thinking that, yeah, what I think I should do, yeah, I think what I should do is I should move this framed opening, this window, just over a little bit. Yeah. Let's see how that goes. Okay, and let me, before I even do that, let me unhide all. Unhide all so I can get my top plate stuff back. This top plate, not sure why I brought that back, but I need this top plate to go all the way over. Oh, I know why I did that, because these things are components. Okay, so this top plate, this sole plate needs to be unique. Let's pull that over. Okay. Let's pull this one back too now. And let's also pull this top plate back. Whoa, where'd I go? Okay, so that part of the platform's looking good now, right against the door. Unhide all? Where is that thing? Oh, because I have to edit this group. Unhide all. There we go, got this top plate back. Okay, so that top plate was staying there regardless. That's part of a different wall section. That thing is fine right there. Okay, I'm starting to see what I need to do. Okay. I gotta edit this group and unhide the platform. Oh no, I remember I deleted that. I pushed that platform back, so I need to put a new platform in here. Do that. Green axis. Whoa, what happened there? Okay. There we go. Okay, to pull this top plate back over here. Okay. Let's look back at this for reference. So I have this thing justified over here. Alright, so I'm seeing how this thing is coming together, and I think what I really want to do is move this door over as much as possible, like this. This is kind of an experiment, just trying to see how this is best going to work out, but let me humor me for one moment here. Don't think I really need more of a sole plate over here. If this just seems more efficient, I can do this. If I do this, yeah, let's just try this. Let me hide this for a second, all this stuff. Let me push all this stuff back. To align with the edge of this. Now I can push this back to align with that. I can push this back to align with this. Okay, we're going to unhide all. Darn it. Unhide all. There we go. All right. All right. So I think this is going pretty good. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm liking how this is going to go. Let's see. Okay, so literally started right there. I see. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. This is kind of funny. What I think I want to do is move all this stuff over. I can actually share that. Yes, let me unselect this. Let me delete this. I don't even need this. So I can share a king stud. Yeah, so this is the thing. If if I just move this over like a teeny little bit, lock to the green, move that over, and then pull this down. And then I pull this up. Tina, Tina, Tina! That's not going to work. You have to go outside. Or the car. So I got this king stud that's going to basically be shared for both. Oh, what is going on over here? Okay. Okay, got the drawings say that the door should be 1, 2, 3, 4, approximately 10 feet in from the end of there. 9 foot 10 and a half. Yeah, but that's also going to be, I mean, that's as close as it's going to get. So that's totally fine. All right. So let's take a look. Now let's pull this out. Yep. And let's move this. Mark this as the end of this wall. Let's hide this. Let's push this in. Oh wow, okay, so these got messed up. We'll make these unique. this down. What is this? This has to be made unique first. I got that little bit of weirdness. All right, so I think I got it now. What we have here is we have this wall, this wall up here. Oh, wait a minute. This got messed up. How does this keep on happening? Oh no, it's not messed up. Cantilever. Okay, great. So we got this wall up here as one unit. And then we have this wall down here as one unit. And then we have, this is all messed up with the grouping. I'm going to have to go through and group all this properly, but we have, you know what, I should probably just do that now, make it easier to explain. Alright, I'm going to fix all this up and then I'm going to go over it. Okay, so I've gotten this mostly done. A few little things missing. But to show you the separation here, this is going to be the first wall component. This is going to be the second north wall component. I can show you them there and not there, and with wall, this one as well, same thing. And then basically what'll be left is this, what I'm calling the entry wall component, and it's going to consist of all of what you're seeing disappearing and reappearing. It's going to fit in between. Okay, so now I'm just going to wrap up the 16 on center studs. And I've gone all the way from, on the bottom section, I've got all the way from here to here done. And so we have to modify a few things now. What we had, the reason why, so we have our, this wall component here, ends right here, which is not on 16 on center. And then we have this one right here, which is 16 on center, because that was based on following a pattern all the way from the right side of the trailer, the back of the trailer, towards the front. But now that we have this door, I don't feel that I should have continue the 16 on center pattern across the door. I feel like we should start over again, because I think that's a logical break, and we should probably start over again with 16 on center starting at the end of this wall here. So I am going to, I don't even think I need this piece anymore, but let's do this. I think the easiest thing would just be to, yeah, let's delete this. We'll pull 16 from here. And then we can just take all these studs, move them back. Okay, so we got 16 on center now to there. Yep. These are all 16 on center. And now we'll take this one and go 16, and that will be our cripple studs. Okay, those are our 16 on centers. And then from here to here, yeah, we got our 16 on center. Now we're not, that's inside the wall at that point. It doesn't even matter. Okay, so let's just let's draw like a little cripple stud up here. Yeah, probably the same as on this side. Actually, they're not. So we'll just do a little rectangle. And this is going to be 3.5, comma 1.5. All the way up to there. Okay, there's our cripples. And let's double check over here again. Yeah. Okay. So we got that all set up. Just saw something that was missing here. Yeah, this little stud is not included in this wall for some reason. Yeah, I must have missed that. Alright, so to fix that, we'll select the whole thing, explode it, select this one, put it all back in layer 0, and then make this a group, put that all into north wall 1. Okay, there it is. I had to fix one little thing over here. Oops. Those a lot smaller so that I can raise these up. These are currently 2x4s. Gonna make them 2x6s. Whoa. That'd be really weird if those cripples just happen to be exactly where. Huh. Let me hide this again. Okay. Okay, so that's fixed. Now, yep, that's fixed. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about a couple decisions I made on this entry wall. So first of all, where these wall components are split up is a little bit weird, right around here, especially that little sole plate right down there. The reason I did it that way is because my intent is to put wall 2, the one that's appearing and disappearing, putting wall 2 in first, then raising wall 1 over here, and then basically I'll just take the entry wall. So I want that sole plate on first because of the entry wall. I'll basically pick it up and kind of just put it into place and sit it between these two. So that's why, and I want that sole plate to be already on the ground so I don't have to do any weird finagling. So that's a little bit funny. This whole framing situation here with this whole wall component ending over here, like with this little sliver here and then this little sliver here, I'm not a big fan of that. It's going to be a little strange, but you know, I'm really constrained here as to like what I have room for. It's just the way it's going to have to be. It'll be cross braced and it'll be rigid and it'll be squared up when it's built, before it even gets raised onto the structure here. But you know, I don't really know of a better way to accomplish this, so that's just the way I'm going to do it. All right, so that being said, I'm going to move on to doing the 16 on center studs on the second story area. We already have, so this 16 on center is going to just continue all the way across. Because there is no logical break. I'm actually starting to regret that break that I did. We'll revisit that, what I did over here with the, yeah, I don't think that's going to work now. Okay, so let me just finish this up. What do I got here? 2'8". Okay. 2'8". 2'8". 2'8". Okay, so to keep 16 on center, let's bring 16 from here. Okie dokie. So let's start putting in some cripples. Okay, so let's do this up on top. Okay, now I'm going to continue this. Okay, so I need a cripple right there. What just happened? Oh yeah, okay. That's that. Okay. Yeah, so here's the problem. My 16 on center from this point Whoa, what just happened here? I'm continuing the line across on the upper like loft wall section, I'm continuing that 16 on center all the way across, but then that's not matching up down here, and I don't like that. So I think I'm going to have to go back to my original 16 on center plan. This isn't going to work. So let me start by take all these studs. I'll start by just moving them back. Okay, so now that's going to align. Wait a minute, what happened here? Oh man, this is gnarly now. Shoot. Okay, I see what happened. So what's happening right now is that I started 16 on center from right over here on the bottom wall section. And now I'm saying I'm carrying that all the way across like I originally did. And then I started 16 on center from over here. But since this one doesn't line up to be perfectly 16 on center from an extension of the bottom wall framing, now that threw the whole top off. I want my studs to meet up and be totally vertical, stacked on top of each other all the way to the roof. So it brings that load straight down, all the way down to the trailer floor. So what I have to do is I have to match the 16 on center pattern from the bottom floor up to the second floor loft area, and then work out on those cantilevers on that same pattern. So I'm going to have to redo the top completely after I fix the bottom. So let me first finish fixing the bottom, and then I'll redo the top. Okay, starting at this end. Okay, starting at this end. 16. 16. 16. 32. 16. 16. 16. 16. 16. 16. 16. That doesn't line up. Okay, so it's take that across. $64, 5'4". So say 64. Whoops. It's 48. Okay, I brought that back. Let's make this one 16. Okay, so we don't even need this one. Do that. And that takes care of that. Okay. So now we got 16 on center going across this entire wall. Totally continuing the pattern from this ending on this stud, 16 on center, and then picking it up right here and onward. Now I gotta translate that whole pattern up to here. Okay, move this over here, continue the pattern that way, and now we can move these over here. Move this one. Right there. Got a couple weird ones, like for example, this one down here, this one right here. They don't, yeah, these two, they don't land exactly on 16 on center, but they're so close that I feel like, I mean, this one lands halfway on. I'm not going to do anything about that because I'll hit the stud for a nail pattern. But this one right here, I mean, what do you do? I mean, should I add another stud right next to it? I guess, why not? What is it going to hurt? So, just going to do it. Okay. Alright, so continuing this. These will be pretty easy here. Just delete this one, we're not even going to need it. Just move these forward. Okay, takes care of these. Next one from here. Actually coincides, it's exactly the end of this wall. which is pretty strangely coincidental. So that's good. Let's see, come from here, do 16. Move this stud. To there. Okay, and then we'll pull. Oh, that's 1'4", so we gotta move these guys. Just get rid of this. These last ones, we don't need those there. And we'll just select all these. Okay, perfect. There's our 16 on centers for that. Okay. Now let's pull. Let's delete these because I don't know what they are. And we'll pull 16 on center from here. And gives us confidence that we're doing this right, because now this guideline totally aligns to our pattern below. And now I can continue this. Okay, where does this 16 take us? Okay, so we got another one of these situations where it takes us right onto the middle of that stud. So, can't say I love that. Why can't I erase these? For some reason I'm not able to erase those guidelines. Oh, you know what? They must be part of this group. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Okay. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to first make these cripples. Five, 1.5. Now I'm going to continue this pattern for the cripples. Okay. I'm going to pull 16 off of this line here. Oh, since it's not a line, it won't let me do that. Okay. What it's going to let me do. So I'm just going to do one of these. I'm just going to keep I'm going to keep just that cripple stud there, or that, rather, that jack, whatever you call it, the cripple stud. It's going to keep it there. Again, it's close enough. I'm just going to continue the pattern starting over here. Okay. Same problem over here. we're just gonna have to say it's close enough. Forgot to put a 16 up there. Oh, maybe I did, but it got moved over somehow. Oh yeah, so this was the same question I asked myself over there. Might as well just put another stud in because we're in space on that line, so yeah, let's just do that. Okay. Now we can pull off this edge. Continue 16. Copy this guy over to there. Okay. All right, I think we're in good shape now. All right. Now, if we look at our original model, I think we can see that the framed opening, I mean, we can't exactly see it here, but I'm going to tell you, take my word for it, that the framed opening pattern on the other wall is identical to this wall on the upper level. We know that this wall is about 6 inches shorter to accommodate the 3.6 degree slope of the roof. And we also know that the other wall doesn't have this whole break, this whole component here. So what we can do is, to save ourselves some time, we can take as much as we can from this other wall. So let's start with doing that. Let me first group these. Okay, for now I'm just going to keep them in layer 0, put the group in layer 0, do the same thing over here. Oh, just messed that up. Alright, how about doing this instead? Just do a right to left select. Well, should have just done that to start with. Oh, I don't know if that totally worked. I think I got more than I bargained for. There we go. Okay. Let's group these. That in layer 0. Alright, so now I'm just going to duplicate this group. Lock to red. Snap to that edge. Make positive that we're looking good here with that edge. You know, this reminds me, before I get too far with this, in fact, let me just undo this. What I really need to do first, before I start duplicating, is to make sure that all of this whole plane is aligned, just like I did with the bottom floor. I need to put the sheathing on and cut out my rough openings before I do anything else. So let me show the sheathing layer. And it looks like I'm going to have to redo some of this, because how long are these pieces? Yeah, these are basically 8 feet. What I want to do is what I want to do is have a single piece of plywood sheathing span from basically where it's at right now up, have a cutout here, and have one piece come up around like this and all the way to like here. And the reason for that is because I want to tie as much as possible, just like I did with the platform and the plating. I want to tie as much as I possibly can of the main structure framing out into the cantilevered area to give it more support. And by spanning a piece of sheathing plywood across the entire face like that is going to do just that really effectively. So I have to edit the sheathing. I have to delete that whole piece. I'm going to have to recreate this. In fact, I'm probably going to have to redo... Yeah, I'm going to have to redo all these pieces. So I should really just delete all of this. Okay, so now it's time to just create a new piece of sheathing. Rectangle. Oh, I shouldn't start there. I should start it like over here. And I'm going to lock it to red, so I don't have to mess around with this. Okay, so it's going to be 8 foot, 4 foot. Okay. Is that going to make sense for what I'm doing? Yeah, you want to overlap your seams. In reality, I probably should have laid this out differently. Should probably redo that too. Yeah. Yeah, I should just redo all the sheathing. It wouldn't take very long. I know, but I got these pieces down here where I did those cut arounds, so I don't want to redo that. I'm just going to roll with it. Okay, pull this out 3/4 of an inch. Whoops, messed that up. 0.75. Make a component. Okay. Now I'm pull this, move this down. Lock it to the blue axis. Okay, and now I'm just going to move it up. You know what? I'm not even going to move it up. I'm just going to butt it right up against. I was doing this whole thing with like 1/8 inch gaps. I don't need to do that in this drawing, I don't think. Oh boy, I got other problems. Alright, let me restart. Alrighty, so I was right with the 1/8 of an inch gap. Just confirm that. I think what I want to do now is just completely redo the sheathing on both sides because I don't like this orientation that I have here. I want the full sheet going all the way to this stud here, up here, not down here. That being said, let me just redo this. You know, I want to keep these pieces here for now. Or at least this piece. Just need this piece here for now so I know how to space it. Now I'll just use another piece. Okay, let's see. keep that 3/4 inch overlap right here so that the sheathing on the end wall can butt up the same way I did on the wall below. Okay, it looks like I've already made an error. See how that is somehow in there? I thought I dealt with that by selecting the axes properly, but it looks like I have not. Holy cow. Would you look at that? How does this happen? This is the exact problem that I was trying to avoid. Somehow this freaking 2x4 got shifted out. It's amazing. I have no idea how this happened. Are there any others that happened with? Doesn't look like it. Boy, oh boy. Maybe that was something to do with me just moving the plywood around. Okay. Let's unhide this. Okay, good shape now. There's that gap. Okay, so for this one, I can push this back a little bit. Let's push that back. Push that back so we hit the midpoint of this. Oh, that's a little dangerous. Let's grab this corner right here, lock it to the green axis, and push it back so we hit the midpoint of this 2x4. And then to get that 1/8 inch gap, we need to then move it back even a little bit further, like so, on the green axis by 1/16. And that is going to give us what we need. Okay, so for that gap, so now let's get this thing going to the midpoint. Okay, and this is right on the midpoint, it looks like. How did that even happen? Oh, right, because these are... It must be because it's 16 on center. Okay. Let's push this one back a 1/16. Okay, let's continue that pattern. Now if I move this over by 8 feet, what does that give me? Probably gives me no gap. So I need to do 8 foot and 1/8 of an inch in order to get it over that far. But I need to cut off that 1/16 of an inch over here in order for that to work. Okay, so we're going to push this in 1/16. Okay, now we should be flush. We are. Okay. No, I don't want to do that yet. Let's deal with the full sheet right now. Can deal with the details later. Green axis, copy it, 8 foot, just to get it over. Okay, and now I can push it another 1/8 of an inch. Okay, there's our gap. Let's check it out over here, where we're going to end up. Yeah, so we need to pull back a little bit. Let's pull a line, measurement line to the midpoint. Okay, and then we'll pull see, we're beyond that. And I can pull another one by a 1/16 off of that. What just happened there? 1/16. There we go. Now we'll push this in and snap to that. Okay. All right, next one. Snap to green, copy 8 feet just to get it over there. And there's our 1/8 inch. Okay. Let's see where we end up over here. How are we doing? Are we in the center? And let's pull 1/16. 1/16. Okay. Unhide. Looks like we're on it. Can't tell for sure, so I'm just going to push back and then push back and snap to that line. Okay. Looking good. Move, snap to green axis, copy 8 feet. Looks like we got 1/8 of an inch there, yep. Alright. There's that. Let's move this. Alright, so what I've done now is did a more generic, did like the sheathing pattern that I feel is going to be best, that gives those cantilevers the most rigidity, and I've cut it out of one side. I want to keep it as generic and over extending as possible, because I'm going to basically copy this to the other side before I start doing my rough openings, just so I have it over here. So I'm going to delete all of this. That's all going to be gone. And now I'm going to copy all this sheathing and make a group of it. Okay, just make a group. And now I'm going to copy that group to the other side. So let's see, let's take a measure of how far I need to move it. And it's 8'2" plus 3/4 of an inch, so 8'2" and 3/4 on the red axis. Control red axis. 8'2" and 3/4. Boom. Now I got it over there. Okay, sweet. And I'm going to make this entire thing unique. Can I do that? Oh, still in the same group. That makes sense. So I'm going to explode it. And, oh man. Whoa, what just happened there? Not sure what happened there. Sheathing. Group. Oh, okay. Explode, sheathing, put it all into layer 0. Is that right? Okay, great. I got two separate groups now that are both in layer 0. Okay, so now I can start mucking around with my framed openings. So let's do this. Let's take a section plane, and we're going to tools. Where is it? Okay, section plane. Great. Move this thing along the. Yep, there we go. Red axis. Section plane is a great tool when you just want to just hide a bunch of your model to get in there really quickly. Okay, so now I can start doing my framed openings. Again. So I'm not going to explain what I'm doing. You guys have already seen this. I'm just going to buzz through it one more time. Huh, the section plane is in my way. How do I... Oh yeah, I can hide the section plane. Okay. Okay, so let's start over here. Oh boy, am I having that fucking problem now. See, and I got really scared for a second that I had the same problem I had last time with the sheathing.
Did you?
No, it turned out to be a stupid problem that... I mean, it wouldn't have been like everywhere, it just would have been in this one place. But anyway, it wasn't that at all. It was just a stupid problem. It was an error I was just making. It's nothing, actually. Now that I have all the framed openings cut out in the sheathing on this one side, and I have my uncut sheathing copied and unique on the other side of the house, I'm going to drop all the sheathing. Oops, the sheathing is actually currently, these two sheathing groups are not in sheathing layers. Let me get them in there real quick. Delete this section plane, it keeps getting in the way. Okay, drop all the sheathing, and now I can focus on creating the walls on the loft area on the other side of the house. So I want to try to reuse as much as I possibly can from this wall, even though there are a bunch of differences. So in order to do so, I am going to right to left select, grab most of this stuff, and now I'm just going to select the pieces of this wall that I didn't get in that selection. Okay, got it. Actually, is this a group? This is a group. Okay, great. So first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to explode this group. It's in layer 0. Now I'm going to copy everything over. Keep it on the red axis and snap it to right over here. Yeah, okay. So the framed openings are in the same exact spot, and all the framing members are the same, except for the fact that the this wall is 6 inches lower. So in order to deal with that, well, actually, let me first confirm 6 inches lower. So let's see over here. This wall with that top plate is 4 foot 4 1/4, and this wall uh, 3 foot 10 1/4. So yep, exactly 6 inches lower. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that top plate, and I'm going to just push all of these down. Some of these are probably components, yeah, so this is not going to be hard at all. So 6 inches. Whoops, I have to make this whole thing unique. Let's undo a couple things. Oof. Yeah, alright, I gotta select this whole thing manually. Should have done that. Should have made it unique the very first thing that I did after I copied it. Forgot to do this. So I'm going to make, starting by making all of these components unique. Alright, now I'm going to hide, and I'm going to push this down 6 inches. Got to do the same for these cripple studs here. Push them down 6 inches. See, that's the beauty of components. Just a little reminder, guys, how nice that is. Okay, so we're going to unhide that top plate, and we're going to move that down 6 inches now. I'm going to stick on the blue axis 6. Okay, so look at that time savings. Boom, we got that whole wall just done right there. Okay, so let me go back and select all this stuff and make it a group now. You know, there's probably a better way I could have done that, thinking about it now, with not ever exploding it, keeping it as a group, but I'm still not like 100% like confident in how I'm supposed to be making these components unique when they're in groups. So I don't want to mess around with it. I just want to make sure I know, I'm confident that I know what I'm doing here. The end result is the same. Okay, so that's that. This one is not a group either. So let me just select all these pieces and make this a group again. Okay, do I have all that selected? Yes, I do. I believe so. Okay, so let's make that a group. Alright, so that's done. Let me do the same thing with the wall over here. Okay, so let me try what I was talking about. I'm going to leave this a group, and the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate it. We can play around with a couple things when I go to do this. Lock to the red axis, rotate around a little bit, zoom in, and we'll snap it to right there. Okay, so now we got the ability, so we got this group. We can't make the whole group unique. It's not giving me that option. So what if I edit the group? Whoa, what the heck just happened here? No idea what I just did, but I undid it and it's better now. Okay, so if I explode just this group and all the pieces are selected, and now I say make unique, and now I make it a group again. Now they should all be unique. So let's give it a try. Alright, so let's hide this top plate. Now let's push all of these studs down 6 inches. Yeah, that totally worked. This is much faster. Okay, so push these down 6 inches. Bring the top plate back. Whoops. Now we're in the group, so I have to unhide inside of the group. And I'm going to move the top plate down 6 inches. Lock it to the blue. And move it down 6. Okay, boom. Nice. Now this wall is done. Now I just got to get this middle wall. And I'm kind of thinking that, like, yeah, I can do this. I can do it in a similar way. I'm not going to take the entire group, though. I got to go inside the group, and I'm going to select the components that I want out of it. Because this is that funky entry wall that has, like, these super tall studs. So I'm not going to select any of those. Whoops. Ugh, I lost my selection. Okay, take the cripples. I'm not going to take anything from that door header. We'll take the sole plate. Let's see what else I can grab. Jack stud, king stud for the window header. Okay. And then all these cripple studs. Alright, I think that's about all I can use. Alright, so now I'm going to move this, copy it, lock to red, zoom in over here, and snap it to right there. Alright, so I am pretty close. Let me just pull this out. Oh, made a mistake. See, while I had it all selected, I should have made it unique. I forgot again. And it's also still in the same group. So, I should have exploded it first. Is this the same thing? No. Alright. So let's see here. We'll explode this group. I guess I have to unselect all these things. Okay, so we'll go back here and make that a group again. Yep, and that's going to be in that wall entry layer. Okay, that's good. Now I have to make all of these unique. Make unique. And now I can pull out. Oh, I should have made them a group. Ay. Alright, well, let's just pull this out first. Make it, we'll have to select them all again, yet again, later. Also, these can go. These don't have to, I can just copy these from here so that they're all the same component. Okay. And now we can hide this. I can push these all down 6 inches. And we can push these down 6 inches. And we'll unhide the top plate. And we'll move that down 6 inches, lock into blue. Okay, and now I can actually just grab this guy, or these guys right here, and copy that. Lock it to green. Put that right there. Okay. Just make sure the 16 on centers are lining up. 16, 16, 16. Yeah, we're all good there. Okay, now I just need to make this a group again. Painstakingly selecting all this stuff again for like the 8th time. Alright, make that a group. And now I can put that. Yeah, I guess I have to make groups for all these wall components now. I have to separate this bottom wall into groups as well. So once I do that, I can make these all layers.